internet is struggling. Hello and welcome to Top of Mind with Ann and Rachel. My name is Rachel Profit. My pronouns are she, her. I'm a white woman with long red hair that's pulled up today. I'm wearing my rose colored glasses and I'm in a room with a white background. Ann, do you want to introduce yourself?
Absolutely. My name is Ann Krupke. My pronouns are she, her. I'm a senior fast track solution architect at Microsoft. I'm a white woman with brown and blue hair, and I'm wearing a black shirt and some over the ear headphones coming from my home office.
So I noticed that you said you have brown and blue hair today instead of purple, and I haven't
It's
seen the
like
blue.
blue purple.
So
Yeah. So
okay,
it's
got
yeah,
it.
it's changing. So I'm thinking about going green next, so I had to do a little
Ooh,
bit of a um
transition.
transition through blue. Yeah.
Nice. That's
Yeah.
fun and exciting.
Yeah. That's apparently what's top of mind for you.
Well, I mean, you just mentioned it, so I just
Yeah.
had to like,
Yeah.
say, "Ooh, something different." You know, I another thing that I noticed, like your post, was it yesterday or today? I don't remember about all the new planning optimization features in
That was
.36.
like
Maybe
two
that's a
weeks
little
ago.
more work related.
That was like 2 weeks ago, but
Oh, it was 2 weeks ago.
it just keeps cycling. I think more people are finding out about it, especially as we get closer to GA of
Mm,
36. So, and actually, if you go to the 2 weeks ago, the one I did with Uday while you were out, the top
mm-hmm.
of mind, we actually talked about it in a bit more detail. But yeah, we have some net new features to planning in .36, which is super exciting. You can filter out specific sales orders or sales order lines from planning. You can
That was the
specify,
one that I saw that I was, like, most interested about. Like,
yeah,
so maybe, like, that one, do you have, like, a use case or a scenario where, like, businesses need to do that, like, to explain why that might be important to someone?
yeah. So well, one of the biggest ones is in the case where you're getting orders in through an integration, like an e-commerce or EDI or something.
Mhm,
We do in the past, what I've seen people do is you'll bring it in as a journal, you run validations, and then you change it to a regular sales order. But for some
mhm.
companies, that doesn't work for particular reasons. I think sometimes they want the invent trans record for certain reasons, but they don't, so they can't have it be a journal for whatever reason. But you're not ready to
Right, right.
plan for it because it needs to go through a certain round of communication. So that could be a reason why you want to exclude an order, is just that you want to validate it before, especially, if they're large orders or high value, you might not want to start putting purchase orders in right away.
Makes perfect sense. I think, like, sometimes, like, we put out all these new features, and I think sometimes it's hard for people to know, like, when am I supposed to use this or why would I use this? I think it's super helpful. But then,
Yeah.
right, it almost leads me to another thing that you just said was journal. And it's it just made
Oh,
my mind go like
the
to this really weird
overuse of
place.
certain words and
Yeah.
dynamics. Is that where you're at?
Yeah, like, that is exactly where I was at, but it's maybe a cool little topic that people may not know about our business process guidance is that we're building a glossary of terms.
Yes.
So, people might remember I'm sorry, we're just all over the place today. This is banter with Top of Mind with Ann and Rachel, so that's what we do. Thanks for tuning in. Um, the word we've put a glossary together and we're building on it. It's getting bigger and bigger. But the cool thing is, like, if you guys want to contribute to it or there's more terms you want to see in it, you can give us that feedback. But hopefully, are you putting up a link for us, Anne, to the
Yeah,
glossary?
I'm gonna
Um, but
I'm
that
gonna
word
put it
journal is
on
one of those
the
that's
comments on
like
YouTube and LinkedIn directly.
perfect. The the
It means like anything, record, dimension.
the word journal is, I don't know, maybe something got lost in translation, from, like, the original product when it was made in Denmark in Danish. to like English or something. I don't know. And that's how we wound up with the word journal. But you get a journal, everybody gets a journal.
Yeah, I don't know. I think here's the question though. If they went and did like a thorough because like maybe the UI team would do an analysis and say, hey, this term is used over frequently to be different things, and this is what we recommend each one of them should be. How do you think the change management would go over in terms of bringing some differentiation back in? Because we have dimensions all over the place, inventory dimensions, storage dimensions, and maybe that's fine because it all means the same thing. A dimension is just an additional lens to look at something through, but financial dimensions and inventory dimensions are like completely different, right? But maybe not. So I don't know. I think there's definitely same words that are used over and over again, and I wonder if it's even worth fixing, or if it's just we're at the point where people know what it is, and why would you change it?
Right. It's a good question. Obviously I don't have the answer to that, but I think it'd be a good one to like pose to the community and get the feedback.
Yeah.
So
we did
instead of random
have
banter,
a
should we go back
goal.
to what you were originally saying about like all the planning optimization features before I cut you off on like the sales order one?
Oh, no, that's okay. If you want to know more, then you can definitely check out the I think it was the 2 weeks ago episode, or you can check out the release notes for 10.0.36. But what we had promised we would do today, because we missed the Purple Pill Company, we promised that we would configure a new feature from one of the past 3 releases in the Purple Pill Company. So we should. Nobody gave us any suggestions.
We should do that. We did promise that.
A bit of a bummer.
Bit of a bummer. I mean, if you're quick, you can suggest right now and we'll do it.
Yep. So I just did a little
Otherwise,
check, and
we're
we're
gonna
on
just randomly pick.
35. We don't have 36 yet, so it has to be 35 or earlier. Do you have any off the top of your head?
Okay.
Let's see.
Good question. I don't know. I think the financial, but we've already done financial tags.
We have done.
Well, what about
tags.
the new procurement? The procurement Copilot thing. Was that 35 or 36?
So
I don't remember.
I think it was.
I can't keep all these version numbers straight.
35, but you have to do some Dataverse stuff, and I don't know if we have admin access for that environment.
Okay.
Let's see. Let me look at finance. There should be a related link, right? One would think. .10.0.34 in finance. Advanced bank reconciliation improvement, enable filtering and provide separate grid for new transactions. Is that fun or boring?
It's fun, but that would be very difficult to demonstrate without a file from a bank.
Okay, fair enough.
I mean, we could show the parameters, but that would be boring.
Most of what's gone on in finance recently has been around financial tags as well.
Yeah.
So
there's a lot of financial tag features. Like that's why I was like on the finance side. What about like does project operations have anything fun we could show?
Well, remember in the Purple Pillow Company, we're mostly a manufacturing company.
That's true. We
We're
probably don't
gonna
have the
find
projects
something.
module configured.
Let's see if we can find maybe something in .33. I feel like, we're all just trying to get along, right? Let's see. We already talked about, wow, we've actually covered a lot on this show, pricing management. We did a whole deep dive on that.
Yep.
Have we talked about the new asset management mobile app?
Oh, somebody suggested e-invoicing.
Electronic invoicing.
That's on the finance side, it's like part of all the globalization stuff.
Okay.
The Globalization Studio. We might have the same problem there because Globalization Studio is in Dataverse. I don't know if we don't have admin access to a Dataverse, then we may not be able to do
The
what we need
electronic
to do.
invoicing service in Dynamics 365 Finance enables businesses to fully automate the electronic invoicing clearance process from end to end.
Yeah. So we've added support for like a bunch of different countries to do the e-invoicing. So parts of it are in F&O and parts of it are in like the Globalization Studio.
Does Chorus Pro mean anything to you?
No.
Okay. Submitting electronic invoices to Chorus Pro for clearance purposes and then distributing them to other companies. This might be a French specific feature. Oh, yeah, it is.
Yeah.
That's
France
what Arnaud.
localization. Yeah.
Yeah. So we're also our legal entity is in the US. So we wouldn't have the French localizations as features.
Yeah. I mean, we could maybe talk through the basics of it. But oh yeah, there's the Chorus Pro integration.
Have we shown the asset management mobile app, the new one?
No, we haven't. That might be fun.
Okay. Because I think I actually did install that already in the Purple Pillow Company. So at least we can do a new demo.
I love that. And Arnon, we're not ignoring you, but yeah, so we're going to have to do some prep work on that. And I might pull in like a localization person who knows this French localization better than I do. We'll maybe do that as a future topic for you.
Session. I think next week we're still missing a topic. So I don't know what turnaround time you've got, Rachel, but let's do it.
Yeah, I might bring a guest on, see if I can find somebody from the product team who might be willing to come on and do that. So it's a great topic. I just don't know that we can do that on the fly off the top of our heads.
All right, let's look at the asset management mobile app. And
Love it.
So the background is previously I think we talked about this very briefly in one of our like release wave reviews, but
yeah.
There used to be on the Dynamics 365 Finance and Operations mobile app for phones, which is a mobile app. There was a workspace for asset management, a very simple workspace. And last year we announced that we're deprecating that mobile app in general. So there have been a number of new mobile apps created to fulfill some of the functions that the old mobile app provided. And in asset management, they built from scratch a new mobile app that's based on the Power Platform to do maintenance requests and work order updates or work order processing. So those are the two kind of main scenarios that are supported in the asset management mobile app, and it is based on Power Platform. So what that means is that one, it is not currently available offline because it is a platform restriction, and two, that it is not possible to customize the solution because it's a Microsoft managed solution that you then deploy for your Dynamics installation. So if you needed to add a field, for example, that's not something that you can do yourself at this point. So it's still something that the product team is investing in working on. And it's all, in my opinion, much better than what we had previously anyway. So I'm really excited about it. If you want to know how to get started, I'm going to put in the chat a link to. Somehow it's not posting. I just realized the other one I tried to post didn't
go through either on the LinkedIn.
I
see it on
I
see it on the YouTube, but I don't see it on the LinkedIn.
I'll come back and post on the LinkedIn post afterwards. But so basically, you need to install the mobile app solution in Dataverse for the environment that is linked to your Dynamics environment. And then it's pretty straightforward from there. And I actually have Power Apps installed on my computer, thank goodness. So I can show you what it looks like. I think
Cool.
Nicole and I used the Purple Pillow Company to demo it before. So I'm gonna share my screen.
I'm like
let's
dying
just
in
poke around
anticipation to
and
see your screen here. So when you install it, I assume that whole process is just done through LCS and the add-ins, or do you go do it in the Power Platform Admin Center?
you do it in the Power Platform Admin Center.
Cool.
Yeah. So,
but it has to be the Dataverse that's
remember
connected to your F&O environment, right?
Exactly. So you should, yeah. So make sure you go to LCS and look at the connected Power Platform environment to that particular finance and operations environment, and that is the one where you'll install the solution. There was just an update, I believe, in terms of how, like, I think they're working on making the installation process easier as well, which is
okay.
Yeah, which is awesome. And I can't remember if there's a feature, so we're just going to do a quick check for asset management. Nope. So there's no feature on the F&O side. It's just installing the app on the Dataverse side. In terms of security roles, there are, and again, this is in the documentation, but there are a couple
So yeah, you're going to system administration and then users is
yes.
where you just clicked.
Yeah, so I'm going to look at, I believe this was the one I used. So the maintenance manager and the maintenance worker are the two roles that control your security in the mobile app. So it actually does look at the security roles assigned in finance and operations to determine which
buttons and actions you can take.
Exactly. So there's like, you can give people access just to be able to submit like a maintenance request, because a maintenance request is something that anybody should be able to do.
Is that a third role, or is that just the worker?
I think it's the worker, but I would have to check.
Okay.
Users. Oh, there's a maintenance requester role. So it's actually maintenance worker and maintenance requester. So the maintenance requester can submit a maintenance request, obviously, and that could be anybody, like a production operator, or even a person in the office who wants to submit a maintenance request on like a coffee machine or something. And then the maintenance worker role would be the people who are going in and doing work orders and processing that. The maintenance manager role is actually, I think, just about in the regular finance and operations UI, what can you do there?
Got it.
So you need to make sure that the user has those roles assigned. I think system admin, as usual, should supersede anyway, but I was kind of just trying to be safe. And then in the asset management module, there is also a setup for workers. So you need to have that person also set up in the workers list here. And you can see that my resources here. So they need to exist as a maintenance worker to be able to access the mobile app as well.
And is this the same worker? It looks very similar to the worker screen that you use for warehouse management mobile device workers, or is it different?
It is a different screen.
So it's important that you go to the one that's underneath asset management. So if you go to the one that's underneath warehouse management, it's different. Like,
yeah.
Okay, good to know.
Yeah, so the warehouse, because that's a completely separate app. It's on a completely separate platform. So it's often two completely different work streams. So for everything regarding maintenance, you would set them up here. And this is not just for the mobile app. This also applies to scheduling maintenance resources against work orders. Yeah.
So you need this config even if you're not doing the mobile app. But is there any checkbox or thing you have to do different to?
No, they just need to make sure that they are a maintenance worker and they belong to a maintenance worker group.
Got it. And then is that the only like extra config that you have to do to be able to log into the mobile app? Or I mean,
Yes.
obviously you need the other like work order stuff to be set up if you're going to request work orders, but
Right. So you need to be for the mobile app to work, you need to be using asset management. And if you're curious about how we set up asset management in the Purple Pillow Company, we actually did an entire tech talk where we walked through everything that we set up, from how we set up our assets to how we set up our maintenance plans to how we set up work order execution. So if you want, if you're interested in going down a 4-hour long rabbit hole of why and how we set up the Purple Pillow Company for maintenance, you can do that at our tech talks, which you can find on the community.dynamics.com website.
Or on the YouTube channel.
Or on our YouTube channel, Dynamics 365 Community YouTube channel.
Yeah. There's a playlist called Tech Talks in there where you can find all the Tech Talks. That's pretty new, in case you didn't know.
We actually also did a tech talk on how to install and use the new mobile app. So if you want the full kind of official, you can use that. Yeah.
So you're going to open the Power App here. So you've got Power Apps installed on your desktop, and you're just going to sign in as your user.
Yes. And this Power App, this user is this worker, right? So I have a person, they're set up as a worker, and they have the security roles. And because I'm a maintenance worker, I also made sure that there were work orders that were assigned to me so that I could see them. So when you are a maintenance worker, it's going to check, the work order list is going to be filtered based on your user only looking at the data that's relevant to you. So I can't remember if there's a way to see unassigned work orders, but you can see the jobs here, which is just work order lines, and then the work orders. And what I'm seeing here is based on what is assigned to me. So that's a great thing for maintenance workers, that they don't have to filter through everything. It's been a minute since I looked at it. I can't remember if you can look at other unassigned ones or other people's. I think that was not part of the first round.
So if you squish this down to be like cell phone size, does it look a lot different, or like?
It was definitely designed with the mobile, like with the cell phone in mind. You can see that the tiles are large, and you can click on them. These buttons are pretty large too, so I can filter the time scale for what I want to look at, the sorting and searching, go between. So jobs are the detail tasks on work orders, and then work orders are kind of a header. They can include multiple jobs.
Got it.
And if I click the request up here, this is where I would be able to submit a maintenance request from the app. You can also mobile friendly, so you can scan like a QR code on an asset so that you don't have to know the asset number when you're requesting maintenance. So you can either scan, or you could search a specific asset. I think this is one. Or you could look on a functional location. So if I don't know the asset number, but I know that I'm in this sewing, like the sewing area, then I could look. Oh, it was a dash. I could look at my functional location and type that in and look at all the assets that are there. But you can. It's pretty straightforward search function.
Yeah.
We also, one of the things that they made sure to incorporate was being able to switch between companies. So assets are set up in a specific legal entity, but this app allows you, if you scan an asset, it'll find the right legal entity for the asset, assuming that you don't have overlapping asset numbers across legal entities, which I would generally recommend that you don't do.
That makes sense.
And then here, this is your standard information for a maintenance request. You can say, the example we always use was the sewing needle is broken and we need somebody to come fix it. You can choose the service level, and so that basically says like how quickly should this get done.
Yeah.
So it's
and
urgent.
Those service levels are like, those are all configured in F&O, like in the setup folder.
Yes. So there,
so
the
you can
options
define
for
what those
service
mean.
level.
Yeah.
Yes. Mm-hmm. And then the same thing for the maintenance request type
Right.
as well. So I could be doing like, oh man, it's been a long time. What's it called when you walk around and you just check that everything looks okay? Like it's part of the 5S. Do you remember? Do you know what I'm talking about? Like,
You're talking about water spiders?
no, it's just
What are
the
you
kind of, it's the, like, doing a walk to make sure things are following your like the way they're supposed to be going. Anyway, like you could just be doing a walk through your plant and see that like a machine, something about the machine looks dangerous, and do a
Yeah.
maintenance request for a safety or for inspection or whatever it is, right? So you can specify the request type. And again, this is something that we chose to define for these values when we did the Purple Pillow Company's implementation. You can also take photos on your device and add those to the maintenance request as
Which
well.
is super cool.
Yes. So
I mean,
it
and
is
that all
really,
just integrates right with the document handling, right? So
yes. Yep. So
yeah.
when the maintenance request gets created on the finance and operations side, so we got MR009. If we go back to asset management and look at all maintenance requests, we can see the maintenance request was created. So that's the other thing. Like that was real time, right? Because we're using, I believe, virtual entities as
Yeah, I was gonna say I'm pretty sure it's built on virtual entities behind the scenes. So it's just like a is it a Canvas? It looks like a Canvas app. A Canvas app that's built on
yeah, exactly.
the Dataverse with virtual entities. So when you install the solution, does it
So it
enable
is,
all your virtual entities for you, or do you have to go manually enable your virtual entities?
I think it does it all for
Nice.
you. I think I just said install this package and I was able to log in. I think the only thing I had trouble with this was setting up the users, but that was some of that was to do with like the tenant and
Yeah, just
things like
our
that. But the documentation is very clear. So for the most part, I think it's really easy to set this up. And the product team has been very responsive to any issues that have
Mark.
come out.
Mark got us our word. Thanks, Mark.
What was our word? Gemba walk. I knew it. I
Gemba
knew there
walk.
was a word
Yeah.
for it.
Yeah. Thanks, Mark.
See,
It's called a Gemba walk.
yeah, it's when you walk around and you make sure everything
Yeah.
looks right according to like your controls and things like that. I knew. It's just been a really long
I wonder
time.
what the origin of that word is. That's a really weird word. My dad was a cost accountant in like a big manufacturing company that
Yeah.
like made manufactured houses, and so he used to do that stuff, right? And basically validating bill of materials and like time clocking like how long
So are
certain
you
steps
saying,
take and stuff like
hold on.
that.
Are you saying that costing literally runs in your veins, Rachel? How did
It
I
might.
not know about this? But yeah, it's definitely
Sorry.
I no, it's hilarious. This is great. I learned about it when I did my Lean Six Sigma yellow belt when I was working in a manufacturing company. So, and I know that a lot of like the lean
So you know
concepts,
karate? I'm just
I do
kidding.
not know
I'm just
karate.
kidding. Like,
I'm
so you're a
look,
yellow belt?
uncoordinated. I'm a Lean Six Sigma yellow belt. I don't know if that ever expires, but a lot of the stuff in Lean, because Lean was piloted by Toyota, a lot of the words like are based on
Japanese.
Japanese. So I don't know if
Yeah.
Gemba walk is one of those, but that could be why. Anyway,
Yeah.
we digress. And we're gonna go a couple
We're-
minutes over on this one just to wrap it up. I think I'm okay to go a little bit over. Are you, Rachel?
I am. Yeah. I can go like a minute. We started 2 minutes late. You know, we had a
Yeah,
couple
so
technical
we're
issues
catching
to
up.
start, so it's fine.
So the other thing you can do in here is report on work orders. And so what that looks like, I'll click on the work order. I can update the status of it. So work orders have life cycle states, also something that you configure in the back end. Right now it's scheduled, so I could change the state to started, I think might be my next one. And then I can also record time and parts that I've consumed. So the items these are posting project journals in the background against the work order, which is how we calculate the cost of maintenance.
Yeah.
So
And the UI there is just, it's super simple. So it's like you
Yeah.
don't even need to know what a journal looks like. It's
exactly. It just says
super
how much
easy.
time did I spend, and then it's up and down buttons. I think these are 15-minute increments.
I think you can type into it too, right?
Yes. Yep.
Yeah.
And then I believe that you can default the forecasted time. I want to say you can do that. I know you can do it in the journals. I think it does it here as well. You can default the forecasted time for that type of maintenance activity, and just have them basically confirm it instead of having them go in and having to do it, calculate themselves.
And when you do the items, can you scan items? Or do you have to? Yeah,
Yes.
There's a
Search
scan
or
button. I
scan.
thought there was. Yeah. So you can either search or scan. It's super cool. It's super simple, like super intuitive. It shouldn't take a lot of work to train your people how to use this. And
then if there was an attachment, like a instruction on or a blueprint or something that
for like complex scenarios, yeah, that makes sense.
Here, I think you can.
I have a really serious question about this.
So add your own attachments from here. Company, that's like something else that you can have them fill the maintenance checklist from the app as well.
So can I ask a really serious question?
Yeah.
So is it possible to rebrand the Power App to be purple instead of blue in our Purple Pillow Company?
That's a great question. Unfortunately,
it's very
important.
The
answer is no, which is really
right, because it's a managed
I think
solution.
it goes in line with currently you cannot customize. Yeah, exactly. It's a managed solution. So it's a big bummer. We'll have to.
It's a big bummer. I really wanted it to be purple for our Purple Pillow Company.
I know. So that's the walkthrough, at least. So we didn't configure
I love that.
something new, but we showed something new in the Purple Pillow Company today. So.
And Arnaud, we'll look to see if we can find somebody to come on either next week or in one of our upcoming weeks to talk about your France localization. So thank you for tuning in and watching. And if you're watching the recording of this, like, comment, tell us what you want to see, because otherwise we just make it up as we go along. But that's all the time we have for today. So thank you everyone for joining us on Top of Mind with Ann and Rachel, and we'll see you next time. Bye, everyone.
Thanks.